How's it going, guys? Hope all is well. Hope everyone's having a great week. We finished the mold today for the skull, so we poured it up in silicone. So we're done with that project. We're gonna return today. We're just gonna hang out and we're gonna work on this hand so that we can wrap this project up. I'm actually really excited to move this project forward now that some of the other stuff is pretty much in like molding phase. So if you're watching this now in the future, hit like and subscribe. It helps me a ton. So let's get over to it here. What is going on? I feel like my audio has all been messed up or very messed up lately. Bunch of weird stuff, bunch of weird updates and everything. All right, let's go to cam 1. Bam. Wow, what a way to start off the stream. Making a big old mess. So you guys have probably seen this hand before a few times. So, and some of you may know that I'm working on it for an upcoming like project that we're doing. Yeah. Yes, effects time. See if I can get this thing to work the way I need it to now. Bam. Okay. Noctwolf, what's going on? I believe I just spilled like half my drink. What a bummer, man. What a bummer. Where do we want to start? Where did we leave off? I think we left off working on the pinky and stuff like that. Trying to fix some of these cracks up inside here. You know what? We'll work on the palm. We'll get this thing right up on my head so that we can see it. Yeah, you do. What's going on, Turtle? It's so crazy. It actually just told me on TikTok, invite Turtle to go live with you. How things been, duder? Hope all's well. This hand has been giving me no end of issues lately. Maybe I should just work on it on a piece of foam. That's what we'll do. You guys can look at some clamps for a second here, and we'll just work on it off the stand here. There we go. Come on. Well, I didn't really think it would do that, but I'm just all over the place with my stream times lately, guys. Sorry about that. Oh, it's way easier to see. There, okay. Now, here's what we'll do. No more chimneys full of wasps? I'm very happy for you that you have no more chimneys full of wasps. That sounds terrifying and terrible. All is well in the show. Really? let's fix pretty significant crack right there. How did you manage to fix your wasps situation? Man, I just can't win today, guys. It's not one thing, it's another thing. There we go. That should be a little bit better. Okay. Also, how did you get wasps? You know? How did you ask? How did you get wasps in the first place? Man, they were just there. Well, he must have been offering some kind of wasp hotel or something like that. How have your projects been moving along? Have they been going well? Probably because we never used it. Ah, is that how you got rid of them? You just turned on the just turned on the fireplace? Turned on, lit, had a fire, whatever. Yeah, this one, there's no way to easily get into the fingers and allow you guys to see at the same time. It's just not happening. Have you been having luck with the laser cutter? No more damage to any sensitive vision organs? Some woodcut crafts, nice. Yeah, I spent all weekend doing my Etsy photo shoots for the Chestburster and the Krampuses. That was a tiring weekend, but got some really cool footage for doing some shorts and some pictures for the Etsy shop. So I'll finally have something more than my goblin as a placeholder. So I just have to go through, do all the editing and all that jazz now. I don't mind product. I actually enjoy doing product photography. It is tiring. I kind of go crazy with it, so I don't. And then the editing too. I'm pretty OCD about editing the product photography. So yeah. Because I mean, you're gonna have to do some product photography for your wood stuff, any wood carving stuff, right? I don't. What part do you despise? Like, you just don't like. Is it more just like a hassle? It's annoying, I think, to some extent, for sure. I should actually send you some of the behind the scenes pics I took, because the setup I use to do product photography, like, I spent a ton of time building out some of like the props that I used for some of the I guess you would say like the staging for the photography. So that was pretty exciting. We made a whole fake little creepy Christmas tree to hang the Krampuses on. Um, I made a I don't even know what you would call it, like a little tiny stage for the chest bursters. It's very themed. Looks like a metal like catwalk kind of, with LEDs behind it. So I was pretty happy with that. Oh, thank you for the heart, Knocked Wolf. What is this? It is a part of a hand that we're sculpting for, or that I'm sculpting. I always do this wee thing. For like a series of short little like movies that we're gonna be doing. Probably in the next, probably by the end of the year. This project is definitely taking a bit of a backseat to trying to wrap up the Armsy. So, which I'm gonna freak out if, even though I'm terrible at estimating how long projects are gonna take, apparently I'm gonna freak out if I make it to 2 years on the Armsy project. I shouldn't, but who knows now? I don't trust myself. You're sculpting in spirit. Good point. Good point. Yeah. Trying to figure, again, just the best way to hold this bad boy. I do have the time blindness for sure. Yeah, I don't know why I do, but I absolutely do. Yeah. Got a bunch of clay under my nails and it's freaking me out. And I would clean them out, but at the same time, I know I'm literally just going to get even more clay under my nails. I also just have a super bad problem with with ever thinking a project is completely done and all the things I have to do. Like, I always add more things than I really need to. Like, I made a vacuum form plate for shipping the chest burster so that, like, when people buy it, it ships in something really nice. So there's like a vacuum form tray that fits the chest burster pretty well, you know? A year for each of its arm. Well, that's the problem. At this point, I actually am done with it. I'm done with the Armsy itself, but then I started this like second project, which is the diorama. So that's kind of the issue. Like, technically, the Armsy, I could paint and be done with it, but I want him to have like a space that he exists in that's, you know, all cool and shit. And that is unfortunately fairly time consuming. And technically, I think, is there anything else I have to sculpt that I might have to mold? I might have to mold and, or sculpt and mold some suitcases, because that's kind of a big part of the game, but I'm not settled on that. You know, taking on wiring LEDs is never an easy time either. Diamond, thank you so much for the follow. An Armsitorium. Yes, exactly. An Armsitorium, if you will. Yes, precisely. Sandra Hope, thank you for the follow. Plus, I have like all this video I have to edit now, which, you know, is going to slow things down. But I did run some tests with the pink insulation foam I bought to start doing like textures for the diorama, and I'm pretty happy with it. The painting of the diorama should go fairly quickly. It's just like the inside of a cave, right? So cave walls are pretty generically painted, so I won't have a ton of time there. But I probably will have a significant amount of time sculpting slash carving the actual interior of the cave walls. Or, yeah, as I like to call it, scarving. How'd you get my first girlfriend to sign the model release for this one right here, or for the Armsy? I'm going to start messing around with some L wire soon, which I'm excited for. Smokey and Sabrina, thank you so much for the follow. I guess both would apply. Yeah. I ordered some L wire because the LEDs weren't working for some like reflective lighting for the diorama. They're too directional, and someone had mentioned to me L wire, and so I bought some of that, and I think I'm going to be able to use that as some recessed lighting in the diorama. That excites me. Per the goods. It's per the excitings. Okay, I need to getting between the fingers is wildly annoying because it's very hard to show, and it's very hard to even just see myself. How long have you been doing that? Well, I work on and off on multiple projects. So I don't know. I probably got like only a couple hours into this particular one. What is this for? We're gonna be making a movie, well, like a series of really shorts, I guess. And I want to do some practical effects. And we have this this is just one part of it. We have a whole arm that this hand attaches to, but I separated the hand to be able to clean it up a little bit easier, versus the whole arm. Looks so very real. Well, you know, it is a life cast. So we took a life cast of someone's hand in silicone, and then we poured liquid hot clay into the mold, and then took this out. The problem is that the clay leaves behind a ton of imperfections. You can see all these random lines and stuff like that that have to get cleaned up. So that's what I'm currently working on. Then we'll make a mold for it, and start casting. Well, first, no, we'll attach it to the arm. This is just the hand. We'll attach it to the arm, and then we'll be making molds and cores and stuff like that. If you guys missed the LifeCast stream, you should go check out my YouTube, creatively_cursed. You can find all my past streams on there, and I have the stream where we LifeCasted Kyle, his whole arm. That was a crazy stream. He was not a happy camper. So why not silicone then? We'll cast it in silicone, but we have to fix everything first. Oh, like why not pour silicone into the life cast? Because I want to make a mold of it restricts. I want to have like posability. I need a mold that I can set articulation into. So and if every life cast always has errors, so you have to do cleanup, and it's pretty difficult to do cleanup on silicone. It's not impossible, but you don't have as much control. From a clay version, I can do a ton of cleanup. If I wanted to change the poses of the fingers, that's really easy. There's a lot of reasons to make a clay version of a life cast before you make any other version. Life casts are messy. They generally don't capture everything you need, and there's always something wrong. Particularly if you do like face life casts, it's really not uncommon too for like the life cast to sag the actor's cheeks or something like that. Yeah, so pretty much any of the air bubbles you're seeing or the weird lines, maybe not the lines, that's a little bit of the clay cooling as it settles into the mold. Some of these issues would have been in anything else. If we had poured plaster inside the mold, silicone, doesn't matter. The imperfections would have been there. And once we fill all the cracks and all the holes and stuff like that, it'll be pretty easy to go back through and add any of the skin texture that we lost during this. Where if, doing it in silicone would be a bit tricky. The other thing that's one of the drawbacks to clay is you can accidentally break the fingers off when you're not intending to. I've done that before. It really is a bummer. It's a pretty significant bummer. Yeah, you can even see there like a weird lack of texture in the pinky and stuff, so. Okay, let's put this on the phone. I think I mentioned this yesterday when I was sculpting that skull. So you had plenty of experience creating satanic effects? Sure. Sure, I guess. All kinds of effects. Doesn't have to be just satanic. Creepy, you know. Indifferent effects, you know. I don't think a hand is satanic. I suppose a hand could be, you know. Like that movie Idle Hands. Underrated early 2000s movie. This is for a movie. It's for like an indie project we're going to be working on in probably next few months, I would imagine. Okay, so now, ooh, this is an idea. Here we go. Bam. Cool work. Thank you. I think it's pretty cool. Wish I could, there we go. That'll work. This is a good example of like an imperfection. This weird like air bubble thing that happened right here. Now, the person we live cast, it actually does have some pretty thick nails. But we already fixed this nail, and we already gave it some of its like thickness, so to speak. So we'll do that again. Malcolm, thank you for the follow. How long have you been doing this for? Special effects in general, I've been doing it for about 20 years now. Wait, no longer than that. Coming up on 25 to 30 years. Long time. But I started at like my first life cast of myself. I had a whole head cast done when I was in 2nd grade. And I went as the Terminator with like half my face blown off. That was back when you could, you know, go as really creepy ass things to school for Halloween, you know? I think it was when I hit like 6th grade where I wanted to go. No, it was like 4th grade. I wanted to go as Freddy Krueger. And they told us that there couldn't be any like significant gore or anything like that. I was really sad. Juan, thank you so much for the follow. you can see this is like way thicker than a thumbnail would be. I don't know how the live cast messed that up, but it did. I mean, honestly, we're probably going to make the nails a little bit thicker than they need to be either way, but not that thick. Thank you for sharing. In the creases of the hands. I don't know if you guys can really see it from the TikTok video, but if you go over to my like Twitch, YouTube stream, or my Kick stream, you can see a little bit better, but it's pretty obvious. Plus, once you're used to doing this type of thing, you can pick up what's like an imperfection from the mold or from the clay versus what is in someone's hand. I mean, fingerprints, wrinkles, things like that, they're all pretty close to the same on everyone. They're just different versions, right? So, and they just have different texture too. Definitely a big fan. Yeah, you got to stick with your gold. Your gold. Thank you guys so much for the follows and sharing. Thank you. We're gonna make it to 10,000 followers at some point, and I appreciate everyone because then I can stream from my PC for you guys to TikTok. So see, we thinned out that nail a little bit just by pushing some really minor clay around, right? Whose hand? Buddy of mine named Kyle. He's the one who we did the whole arm cast of, but the arm is in the other room. I'm just working on the hand right now because hands are particularly tricky to move around. So we separated the hand from the arm for the sake of simplicity. Where is the sculpting tool I'm looking for? I can... Aha! It did wander, but not too far. Got a hand... Oh, yeah. The hand jokes. Every time. Every time. Yeah, like I said, if you guys haven't seen it, you can go check it out on YouTube, creatively_cursed. There's the live stream where we live casted his hand. Or, well, his whole arm, I guess. It was rough. He's a trooper. Because of the pose that we had to have his whole arm in, I'm sure it hurt. But yeah, if you like special effects, sculpting, mold making, a little bit of everything. We do makeup, we do life casting streams, we do... we've been working on one kind of like model or scale project for a while now, where I've even been streaming some of the stuff I've been learning about LEDs and such. That's been a lot of fun. Sam Bablan, thank you for the follow. There we go. Come on now. I should have cast this in, is it part of a larger sculpt? It's a whole arm. Yeah, this is just the hand of a whole arm. Noctwolf, thank you. Filbert, thank you. But as you can see, like being able to move the hand around free of the arm is like really nice. So that's why you guys are seeing me just work on the hand. Michael Betts, thank you for the follow. Had an ant emergency? What? Man, ants and wasps? What's going on? What's going on in your house? Bugs. All the bugs. Be amazed. I'm amazed. Thank you for the follow. It's like Insectopia down here. Heartstrings, thank you for the follow. I can't say. That part's a secret. We're trying to keep the final concept a little bit of a mystery until we release the actual shorts. You can probably figure out a little bit more if you go and watch the stream about like how we life casted it, because his whole arm was in a very certain pose. So that probably takes away quite a bit of the mystery. But what mix you use for that? Proxy? Wait, what mix do I use for what? What are we talking about? Ants, wasps, and ladybugs are all over. Dang. Crap. Yo, what's going on? Yeah, okay, so here's the deal. I'm always busy throughout the day. I'm working every day, right? So like I try to make sure I'm always on at 4:30, but sometimes I go live at 4, sometimes I go live at 4:30, sometimes it's closer to 5. It sucks for you guys, and I'm sorry, but that's kind of what happens. For the hand, this is just Chavant clay. I don't know if you guys are, for those of you who are familiar with sculpting clays, but it's an oil-based clay. This is Chavant, and it's medium firmness versus like the hard or extra hard. Kate and Kevin Camera, thank you for the follow. Oh, time zone, that would be PST, Pacific Standard. Vegas, baby. Guys, thanks for all the likes too. You know what, Turtle? I'm just happy with whatever time we get together too. Looking realistic. Thank you. Thank you very much. I always like to add just a little bit of lines to the nails. I put them in and then I go a little bit deeper and then I soften them. You're an EST? Nice. I lived in the Midwest, so I'm used to a lot of people I know live in EST for sure. Mara Crafting, thank you. So like someone had been asking earlier, this is a perfect example right here actually. These lines, like if you look at these other fingers, right? Like there's obviously wrinkles here that are natural, but these big swooping lines, these are where the clay went into the life cast and it started cooling. And there might have even been, because of the temperature difference, the clay was so warm going into a cooler cast, there could have been like condensation buildup that left these lines, but the clay started cooling too quickly, leaving behind these clay lines. I don't know what else you'd call it, you know? Have you ever... No, I've never... I mean, I've done a lot of zombie stuff, but I've never sculpted a zombie hand. But that's another great thing with a hand like this, right? Is that you can, once I have a final mold of it, I can reproduce this as many times as I want, and I can also make as many versions as I want. Dolly, thank you so much for the follow. So I can make variants. I could cast another hand and then put it in a different pose, you know? It's Aaron, thank you so much. And I can't say that other one, but thank you so much as well. How do we know that that isn't a real hand that you just have covered in clay? You can see the end of it. Although that would be genius. That would be funny. Adam, thank you for the follow. I've actually done this process to life casted hands probably over 10 times, like this specific kind of style of doing a fake hand. I've done other versions too, kind of like how someone had mentioned earlier, where it was like I would just do the life cast and then just pour whatever the final product was going to be made into it, just to let's see what happens. But this whole touching up of messed up clay and mold parts is pretty regular thing that I do. A zombie eye in the middle of it. Hey, you know what? There's another. That is another variant. I'm down for all the variants. But the goal is to have a whole articulated skeleton in the arm and the hand itself, so there's some level of posability. Admittedly, we don't need full posability, but we do need like moderate posability, I guess you could say. Most commonly done with like armature wire inside the cast. I think we might actually put joints into it. My favorite thing to do when I finish a project is to take the project and actually kind of memorialize it. So like this arm, when it's all done, will kind of get like put into a display case or something along those lines, right? We'll see how far we go. If we're going to like punch hair into the final product. Kyle, who the hand is life casted from, he is got blonde arm hair. So that's actually really good because that means we don't, like, depending on the camera we shoot it in, you might not even pick up the fact that there's no hair on their arm. See this other swoop here. This is not a natural like crease. That is a it's another clay line. Oversized. I'm thinking an eye. That's probably the biggest oversized thing I've made, is like a really big eye. But then again, there are really big eyes. I mean, cow eyes are huge. You got, obviously large animals have large eyes. But no, I've made miniature tons of miniature body parts. We're actually, interestingly enough, we have another hand sculpture underway right now, which is kind of a severed zombie hand, but it's not a full-size one. Here, I can show you guys what that one is real quick. This is it's kind of inspired by the Evil Dead movie. Where it's got the bone sticking out. It's got like a little zombie bite, But that it's, as you can see, it's wee. It's very wee. This for a film then. Yeah, well, it's going to be for like some shorts that we're going to do. The whole purpose of it is that a lot of the people I know are effects artists, so really it's just an opportunity to kind of like show off a cool effect, I don't like some other divots going on right here that I'm just not a fan of. I think what we're going to do is once the effect is completed, I think the goal is to come up with a bunch of shorts that essentially reuse the same effect, but in different kind of tongue-in-cheek ways, kind of funny ways, right? Janksy, thank you so much for the follow. And then thanks for all the likes too, guys. I really appreciate it. And I can't say that. Thank you for the follow. Seeing all them hearts jump around, it just moves me. No, it's solid clay right now, but the type of clay is oil-based, so it's pretty sturdy, pretty firm. But once it's casted, I mean, it's even if we made it in silicone, only silicone with no armature, depending on how hard the silicone we choose, I mean, it could be a really floppy hand, almost comically so. But once we put the armature in it, that's why it's also not, we didn't cast it with a hand that was straight, like everything fully extended. We also we casted it specifically with some slight bend to the fingers, so that if you casted a fist, it'd be really hard to articulate the hands out, because silicone really likes to stay in its original casted form. So if you straighten the fingers out with casted silicone when it was casted as a fist, it would look weird. And if you had it completely straight out like this, and then you tried to bend it, it would look weird. So you want to pick a kind of like halfway point in the pose of the hand. That's why there's a slight curve in all the joints, in all the knuckles. What tool is that? Looks pretty cool. This is a modified dental tool of sort. No, I'm sorry. These are actually, the best way to find these is to look up makeup spatula. Okay, you can find these if you look up makeup spatulas. But I modified it by welding wire around it, which strengthened the handle of it more. So when working with clay like this, it's very firm. If you have any big swiping movements I need to do, I can do it. And it's pretty sharp too. Most makeup spatulas are not as sharp as this is. So, but they're not usually built for working against what's the word I'm looking for? Really firm material. Again, they're for makeup. Dental tools are usually my go-to, but I have like 3 or 4 favorite tools, and that one is definitely one of them. Great for making molds as well. For those of you who are into mold making like I am. Yeah, every one of my sculptures always needs to have a mold made of it. A lot of people like to sculpt in polymer clay, but that's kind of like a one-off situation, right? You don't really get the opportunity to make another thing from it. Also, Noctwolf, thank you so much for posting all the cool questions and stuff like that. Hope all has been well. I have some really cool shorts that I shot all the raw footage for this weekend. That you guys are really gonna like. A lot of cool stuff. Depends on how much I get to work on it straight through, because you get into like a groove, right? So if I only get to work on it like an hour at a time, it will literally take longer than if I could just sit down and work on it for, say, you know, X amount of hours straight. So I would say, generally speaking, if I wasn't trying to play to the cameras for live stream and I was doing this like on my own, just sitting down and working on it, I could probably get most of this done in like 5 or 6 hours. But because I'm trying to play to you guys so you guys can see what's going on, I'm limiting my ability to like look around and fix things, right? So that's gonna slow things down for sure. We did a whole head correction video or streams. That took a long time, like head and neck, and like upper back and upper chest. That correction, that took some time, and we made a whole matrix mold out of that too. Again, it also depends on how good the life cast is. If the better the life cast, the easier, obviously, it is to fix it. But there's a lot that plays into that. So we can see these like these creases here. That's what this is trying to be, and what this is kind of trying to be, I think. Don't think those are clay. No, they are. Oh wow. Okay, those are. I was gonna say I thought they were creases, but they actually are part of the clay cooling issue, and you can tell again because I don't know how well you guys can see. I can zoom in for you a little bit here. Ow, my head. I'll try and zoom in here. The reason you can tell they're not actually wrinkles is because there is a swiping that's going on. You can see how the clay literally layered pretty symmetrically through this area. So we know that those are not actual wrinkles. They're a problem in the life cast. Just some up close fingers for you guys there. Another crazy thing is when you see your own version of your hand, like a life casted version of your hand, and you see the positive, it always, to me, my, like I've life casted my feet, my hands, my head, it always looks way bigger than you expect it to be. Like if you can hold your own hand, it's pretty terrifying. It's like a, God, what's it called? Uncanny Valley experience of like holding your own limb, even though you can hold your own hand right now, but like holding a a separate version of your hand is just oddly disturbing. An experience that I highly suggest for anyone, you know, a bucket list experience. Get a life cast. Of your feet, too. I think the feet were the craziest part. I was like, damn, my feet. Big old feet. And since we're going to be casting this out of silicone, that's another reason to fix a lot of these imperfections, is because once we paint it, once we start painting, some aspects of silicone painting will seep into the textures. So if you have improper textures, they will actually be fairly noticeable because the paint will seep in and make those areas darker. Come on now. There we go. There it is. And get focused up on that. Yo, what's going on, Willow? So I see, I think I saw you were back on, you were back to the streaming thing. How things been going? You're enjoying being back. Nice. You just been playing like Diablo, or you been doing art streams? They look flaky? I don't know. Oh, like there might be little chunks of clay, because right now we're just filling in all the imperfections. I haven't gone through, smoothed stuff out, or done any like major retexturing. Once that's done, I think that's what you're talking about. Some of the flakiness will go away. Yeah, we lost a ton of that, a ton of those wrinkles, just those natural wrinkles, because we had so much filling in we had to do. But we'll end up going through and doing something I can to this here. I'll give you guys an example. We're not going to do a ton of it today, but like, something like that. We'll have to make them deeper. So we'll go through and where's my canned air? We'll freeze it. If you guys were here for my stream yesterday, we did a lot of freezing. But the freezing makes the clay even firmer, which is easier to sculpt detail into, right? So and that combination of softening will help bring those edges down. What kind of clay? It's Chavant medium. We were using Chavant hard yesterday for the skull sculpt. This stuff is the medium version, and it's gray color versus like that. I'm not gonna lick it. I'm not licking it. It's the gray color versus the terracotta color that we were using yesterday. What's been take a big ass bite? I'm not biting the clay. But what's funny is I can totally imagine what that experience would be like, and that's exactly why I'm not going to do it. Imagine biting into a soft candle. That's pretty much what biting into this clay, I feel, would be like. If that makes any sense. Actually, someone was telling me recently that there's something special about our tongues that, and this is, you're never going to not be able to think about this once you hear it, right? That you can imagine what something will feel like on your tongue pretty much in every situation. Like you can literally, delicious. Was that you? Wait, what was you? That literally, like, I could show you something, you'd be like, I can imagine what that would feel like on my tongue. Even if you can't imagine what it would feel like on your hand, you can imagine what it would feel like on your tongue. Yeah, that's some weird stuff. Studio 57, thank you so much for the follow. Hope your Wednesday is going. It is Wednesday, right, guys? Yeah, your Wednesday is going well. As a child and putting things in your mouth, that tracks. That tracks. Travis McGregor, thank you for sharing it. Thought it was a real hand. That awesome. That's the goal, right? Wait till we have the final silicone cast and there's all the like minute color variances, right? and the capillaries and like little different types of veins, and we've gotten pretty good at doing like fake nails too. You have the next 3 days off. Congrats. I don't. I don't have the next 3 days off, but I'm happy that you do. I'm going to be taking some time off this summer. I have my friends from the Midwest. Their teenager is out here in Vegas for the summer, getting learnt on some art stuff. So they're staying with me and Glitch, and they want to do art stuff. So they're learning here at the studio, and then they're probably going to stream with us a couple of times and learn to do some sculpting stuff. Thank you for the follow. Monday was I spent the whole morning in the ER. I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. Christopher Wick, thank you for the follow. So it's a synthetic clay. I've only ever used clay from art class way back in high school and polymer clay that I dabble around with. So it's definitely closer to polymer clay than it is water clay. But I don't want to say it never dries out, but I've had sculptures going for over a year before, and like the surface gets a little funky. But you can't soften it with water. You have to use stuff like alcohol or terpenoid or more aggressive chemicals. Like with water clay, ceramic clay, you can just use water and it will smooth it. You have to use more aggressive stuff. Can you share what was the ER trip about, Willow, or no? Like I said, or completely get it if you can't, but it's my natural inclination is to ask like, oh no, what happened, right? So hopefully it wasn't something. I want to say hopefully it wasn't something too serious, but yo, funny guy, what's going on? Oh, you did just share it. Okay, gotcha. Need some hand sanitizer cleaning the hand. Actually, not too far from the truth. I mean, hand sanitizer has a bunch of alcohol in it, right? He broke out in a bacterial skin infection. Dang. That poor kid. Interesting about the clay. Sorry about your. Yeah. Are they doing better? They get some, probably some like what, steroid cream? Isn't that like what to treat like rashes and stuff? So that's kind of how we put back some of the wrinkles. It doesn't look, probably depending on the camera you guys are looking on, might look a little crazy. But then what you do is you can do something like this where you freeze it again, right? I am freezing. And then if I have some alcohol here, I think I do. He's doing much better now. Oral antibiotics. Oh, okay. For sure. Hello, funny guy. I hope all is well. El Paso, thank you for the follow. And then let's freeze it one more time since it took me a while to find a brush there. This can be the longest time consuming part of this type of sculpture is if you really want to tweak out on the textures. Then this can take some time. But I just wanted to kind of show you what we'll end up doing. Any areas that we have to go back through and fix, like sculpturally, there still are these lines we have to fill right here. These are still part of that weird clay thing. But that's kind of, you know, essentially what we'll do. That's a quick and dirty version of it, but yeah. I tried that. I think it kind of works. It doesn't work as well though. But oil-based clay specifically is very heat sensitive. So, unlike polymer clay, oil-based clay, if you put in the oven, at least this stuff over a long enough period will liquefy at like 150 degrees. It'll become liquid. We'll kick it up sometimes to like 250 if we need it to liquefy quickly. We don't want to wait. But polymer clay, if you heat it up, it cures, it cooks, right? You can it slightly firms it up, but generally, if you want firmer clay and you're using polymer clay, I think I would just be inclined to tell you to just switch clay. The only drawback is oil-based clay you can't cook. You have to heat. You have to mold it. Anything you sculpt has to become a mold. Perry, this is so amazing. Thank you. Thank you very much. The skin is still really loose. Where it was swollen, it was so bad. What does that mean? Like, the blood from the swelling or water or whatever, like, stretched their skin out? Whoa. Sorry to hear that. That sounds super not fun. Cool. So we still have this big old gap we gotta do. Joe Reagan, thank you for the follow. It's pretty much only for mold making, yeah, unfortunately. I've seen people, I don't suggest this, but I've seen people sculpt things in oil-based clay and then paint them, which you can do, but it's never going to fully cure, right? So it's only a matter of time until something bumps it or you move it or something and you nick the sculpture, right? So I suppose there might be tricks you can do to fix that, but yeah, generally speaking, I would not suggest keeping an oil-based sculpture around any longer than you need to. Dude, Luna, Kitty, thank you so much for the follow. Again, it's getting in between these fingers, guys. It's going to be tricky to show you. He looks like a bulldog. Ooh, darn. Yeah, that's no fun. At first, I thought it was... Hey, you know what? I'll take that as a huge compliment. All right, you guys are just going to have to trust that I'm filling a very large line that no one else can really see because it's literally right here and it's really hard to show you guys the angle, right? Actually, that's a good point. Yo, TikTok, I did my little intro stream with you guys, but if you want to keep watching and get a little bit better cameras or camera view, go over to creatively_cursed on Twitch, Kick, or YouTube. And I'm live over there, and I'm going to do the rest of my stream over there. So, everyone, thank you so much for the follows. We're going to make it to the 10,000 followers at some point soon. But creatively_cursed, I'll see you guys over there, hopefully. Talk to you later. When are we doing a face again? Oh, you mean like a life casting a face? I don't know. I am deciding, so I am teaching my staff on Saturday, not this coming Saturday, but a Saturday coming up. I'm going to be teaching my staff. We're doing an airbrush like 101 class on a Saturday. and I was thinking about trying to live stream it, like intro to airbrush stuff. It's really going to be a lot of technical stuff, not so much like not a ton about like how to paint with an airbrush, just more like how to use an airbrush, like all the technical stuff. MDK, thank you for the follow. Wait, are we moving? No. I just I bounced off of a TikTok, so yeah, you guys are staying. You're good. No worries. Cast Kyle. I don't think I could convince Kyle to do that. You have to be pretty clean shaven to get a life casting, right? So yeah, you can't. I don't think I'm gonna be able to convince. Word, cool. Thank you. Welcome. If you guys haven't, go join the Discord, especially if you're an artist. Oh, yeah, I was on TikTok. Yes, I was. I'm all over the place, yo. You never know. Yeah, I was going to say, if you guys haven't gone to join the Discord, please do so. It's a really small community right now, but I'm continually trying to grow it. So you can find all the links in the info. So, ow. God, I was really hoping. There's like no way you guys can see this huge gash right here. Can you guys? I don't think the camera's really going to pick that up. I got a nice, like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen those wall-mounted reading lights that you can put above your bed for like at night if your partner wants to read or something like that. I bought one because even though I have a ton of main lights, I want one that's like really good for something like this where I could just pose it and it's a small light that will just illuminate one area so I can show it off a little bit better. Yeah, it's actually crazy how deep a lot of those details are. Like if you even look at your own hand, you don't really think about it, but if you saw, say, this area in clay, it would look like really deep. That's one good looking hand. It ain't bad for sure. Thank you. Small ring light because I want directional light, and I feel like a ring light is just too what's the word I'm looking for? It spreads light too much. I want really directional light. On my mark. Thank you so much for the follow. A selfie life on it. Yeah. I want it to be really small. I already got enough shit on, like you guys can see in my little face cam thing, right? I got too much shit as it is. Get a rectal scope? What? Yeah, something like that actually. You know, flashlight on my camera. No, so that's what's funny. If I had light coming in directly from where you guys are looking, you wouldn't be able to see shit. It's the shadows that I need to sculpt and that you guys need to see. If we did directional light on this, you would lose all this detail. So I actually need directional light. I have this big ass desk lamp thing up here that I sometimes use, but it's too big. The light that I'm gonna get, that I ordered, it's literally like this big. It's small and it's on a very long gooseneck posable thing that I can mount over here, and I could literally be like boop and just put it right there. Your mom did a face cast. Nice. Again, anything like a light box, all those things, they're too soft. We need harsh light. Like, oh, I'm off TikTok now, so I can show you guys an example here. Hold on. So like direct light washes out the sculpture, right? Like, look, the difference. You need shadow, right? Now, look at that. If you get really good angled light, it even gives it more. You can see the detail even more. So I can, like, here. Like, you can see the detail really nice and all the mistakes, right? It goes away. It flushes out. You can't see it. Do this, you can see all the imperfections again. Like, that is an imperfection. That is an air bubble in the clay, right? But I don't like to have to hold my phone while I'm doing this. Yeah, you want high realism. Yeah, for sure. But to set the sculpt on, like when you trace something. No. A light panel to set it on. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Go proctologist. That's essentially what I'm doing. Yes. I'm basically going proctologist. Light it from underneath. That can work too. Sometimes it's a little bit trickier, but down light is always like the best to sculpt with. Downward harsh lighting. Or you know what? I'm not going to say the best. That is straight up to the individual and the artist. I like harsh downward light. That's my vibe, right? The only thing that could make things better, actually, I might do this. I can probably reverse stuff in what's it called, in OBS, and use it as a monitor. So one thing I like to do when I sculpt when I'm not on stream is I actually sculpt in a mirror. Like I'll do a ton of sculpting like you guys are watching right now, where I'm just looking at the piece and I'm sculpting, right? But I like sculpting in a mirror because you will actually see all the imperfections. It's amazing what your brain does with the input coming in from your eyes. It'll fix things, it'll change things around. So like symmetry, you won't see problems, but the second you like hold up your sculpture to a mirror and you look in the mirror, you will see everything wrong with it. It's crazy. It's some type of magical shit. Visit my local medical supply. I don't have a local. Maybe you have a local medical supply. I don't. I already ordered the light. Okay, it's basically your proctology light. Okay, except they called it a reading light for reading your butthole. Anyways, yeah. Sorry. Things got very crude there for a moment. The mirror thing is crazy. Yeah, try it out sometime. If you guys are, yeah, I've never tried it on drawing, but I bet it would apply both. It's just your eyes do so much correction. I mean, honestly, it's kind of similar to like, have you guys ever? Everyone has this. Actually, I'm not even going to ask. You're going to all lie if you don't agree. But have you ever had that experience where it's like you look in the mirror, right? And you see yourself and you're like, oh, that's what I look like. And then you see pictures of yourself. And you're like, that's not what I look like. It could be ever so slight because when you're looking in a mirror, 9 times out of 10, you can try and turn your body every which way, you know? But if you really want to have a trip out, do the double mirror thing where you have a mirror behind you and you're looking in, or you look at this mirror and you see your reflection in that mirror. It's crazy. You get a whole different vibe of your physical space, or how you exist within like a 3-dimensional space. It's got stethoscopes and stuff. That's pretty cool. A nerd light. It magnifies. Oh yeah, I've seen those. I've thought about that. So when I'm doing these types of sculptures, I need to take into consideration that when I'm streaming, you guys have to be able to see stuff. So if I have something too big and bulky, although I would love it, would just be another thing in the way, right? Really what I want is just to have a cameraman with a steady cam rig, okay? With macro lenses, and I don't have to worry about anything. So here's the deal, guys. All that means is I need like a bajillion viewers all the time so I can just pay to have a camera crew, all right? So help me get there, all right? Then we could tackle some really big projects. We could do full body sculpts, monster suits, the whole 9 yards. VR, there you go. You have an iPhone. Yeah, just move on down to Vegas, Willow, yeah. Magic. on your way. Whatever. You get to be up there where the summers aren't literally dreadful. like they are here. You'd be insane. Yeah, I would move back to where there's winters in half a heartbeat if I could, okay? This summer hasn't been that bad yet, but I also know August is not here, and August is where we're going to start to see those 115-degree shits, right? I have Adam Savage's Tested on VR. Amazing stuff. I don't know what's Tested. I do like Adam Savage quite a bit. I've always liked watching the stuff that he does. It's his lab for the... Oh, okay. Chill out. Where... Guys, did I drop it? Oh, no, there it is. Oh, okay, yeah. I think he's one of the few, like... I don't know if I want to say celebrities, but, like, one of the few, Well, he's a celebrity, yeah. One of the celebrities, the only ones I actually follow on, like, Facebook. My Facebook is pretty much for, like, close friends and family, but I do follow Adam Savage on there because he posts pretty regularly and has some really cool stuff. But I was a fan since, you know, the olden days of just good old-fashioned Mythbusters, you know. I wonder if the other co-host of Mythbusters actually does any shit anymore. Like when he busts myths. Yes, exactly. On a journey inside the creative workspaces of incredible makers, bringing their processes to life from ideation to creation. That sounds pretty cool. Google's better explaining. Rock on. Where am I? There it is. See if I can show you guys kind of what I'm going to try and do here. What clay am I using? It's Chavant medium firmness, and I think they call this gray, although I think I would disagree with the term. Not sure how gray I think it is, you know? Yes, NSP, correct. Yep. NSP's my homie. Doctor, thank you. Thank you very much. It's coming along. Wow, thank you. Wish I could take like full credit, but it's a life cast that I'm fixing, right? So we took a mold and then I'm going in and fixing all the details and all the imperfections. So I'm sure I've never tried to sculpt. Well, that's not true. I've never, I've sculpted one full size hand from scratch, but that was also like 12 years ago. It probably looks like garbage. I threw it away. Coworker also loves that NSP since I'm. Yeah, I can't get into Monster Clay. I can't. I tried. I put in the good effort to get behind Monster Clay. I just can't do it. It's actually the filler. It's the filler that Monster Clay uses to make their clay lighter that I don't like. Because I use a lot of solvents when I sculpt. I'm a big solvent user. Everything from alcohol terpenoid to I've used Goo Gone before, and the solvents don't react super well. Alcohol, I didn't really have that big of a problem with, but getting into the more harsh stuff doesn't break down the fillers that they have in there to make their clay lighter, and it bugs me so much. It's got, to me, it's super smooth until you start using solvents, and then it ends up having this like, I don't want to say it's not grain, but it's like grainy. It's kind of like sandy. I'm sure it's how people who went from Roma Plastilina to Chavant felt. Because if you ever talk to someone who's used Roma before, they're always like, "Oh, Roma, was so creamy," And it's like, I don't know. I used Roma and was not a fan. So everyone's got their own, their own thing that they like for sure. It's like, um, now this that I'm messing with here, I actually don't know if this is part of Kyle's hand or not. I've never looked at his hand that close. He might have a scar right here, and that's what I'm like trying to fix right now, to be honest. I just don't like the way the light is catching this one part. Here we go. The light's not catching it so bad anymore. It's from number one for sculpture class when I was still in high school. I didn't love it either, but now it's in a box collecting dust. Yeah, I think I somewhere have some Roma laying around. But I do so much silicone, I can't use Roma because the sulfur inhibits any type of platinum silicone. And I don't do. I mean, I probably do more tin silicone on average than some people, but the majority of it is platinum silicone. I think one of my first sculptures way back in the day was out of Roma. You know what I need to try to give it a better fair shake is I think Monster Clay is kind of like NSP, and it comes in. Does it come in extra firm or just like firm, medium, and soft? Because if their extra firm is good, then like I might be down. But I've only messed around with their like medium and soft clays. They're just super sensitive to heat too. Like, don't get me wrong, they're, like all oil-based clays are pretty sensitive to heat, but monster clay is like specifically designed so that you can liquefy it really easily, right? So it's very sensitive to heat. I have to imagine working with it like in a studio like ours where it can get like 100 degrees. What that's got to be like, right? Just a 3, soft, medium, and hard. Oh, okay. I'll give the. I'm sure I am not done messing around with monster clay. There will be another situation where I run out of some type of clay, and the only stuff I have around is monster clay. I've sculpted appliances with it. Actually, I sculpted my little goblin guy with it. Um, so I mean, I've done I've done quite a bit now with it, but it's always frankly been in a scenario where I'm like, yeah, do I want to use any of my Chavant for this? Excuse me. Alien clay. Yes, I have. How nice of Smooth On to find every way to rip things off, even though Reynolds or Smooth On bought Chavant, so they have all the rights. They still had to make their own version of uh, of Monster Clay. I have tried it. Yes. What type of work do you do where you're using a lot of this stuff? You seem pretty familiar with a lot of the materials. A fellow effects person, perhaps? It's another mess up. Yeah, I mean, it's literally, I had the same experience with it that I did with Monster Clay, so. Thank you. Yeah, my techniques are literally mashups of a billion other people's techniques. I just work at a sculpture supply shop in NYC, and my boss is now training me to become a tech. Nice. God, I wish I was in NYC to just have a fucking sculpture supply shop. Like we have maybe, I'm in Vegas, and we only maybe have like, I don't know if we have any sculpture supply. We have like one or two pseudo, like quote unquote effect shops. One is really like a costume store. It's big. It's a big costume store, but they mainly focus on like wigs. And then they have like kind of a makeup section where maybe you can kind of find some sculpture supply stuff. I know when I was in California, you know, obviously LA's got some pretty cool places like Friends Beauty Supply. God, there's another one that it's kind of escaping my mind right now. But Vegas, man, it's lacking. It's slacking. It's called the Complete Sculptor. You guys have a website? I feel like that's a dumb question nowadays, but a lot of I've noticed a lot of like art supply places don't exactly keep up on the latest tech trends. I'm overworking this area. I can sense it. Oh, cool. I'll check it out. Yeah. We spend way too much money on our website. I shouldn't say that. That's mean. We spend a lot of money on our website. I actually love our web guys. There's some things that I'm not the biggest fan of, but whatever. Websites are definitely, you know, much like a lot of other shit in life, you get what you pay for, you know? Definitely introducing or getting into a more complicated part because a lot of the texture throughout a finger is like really easy to nail down. But once you start getting to the knuckles, it's the convergence of a lot of different textures and a lot of different directions of skin wrinkles. Kyle also is not a older person. Kyle's a fairly young individual, so you're not going to see a lot of heavy wrinkles, right? You're going to see a lot of just very light skin texture, right? Okay. Overcharging in the industry. Yeah, well, it's always for, you know, a lot of times my experience is it's hard to tell whether or not something's being overcharged, but again, maybe that's just me. Some things you know, obviously there's some things I know quite a bit about, but there's plenty of stuff I know nothing about and I can never tell, you know, what is overcharging, right? Just because you can find someone who might do it cheaper doesn't mean that the person that you first went to is overcharging, right? Could just mean that the person that's cheaper is crappier. Yeah, we'll stick with that for now. We'll come back and revisit it once I finish filling all these damn gaps. Tattoo gate stuff on TikTok. Yeah, I've heard a lot about that. I know a couple of tattoo parlor owners, and yeah, I've gotten a couple of earfuls about it. Like my tattoo pad that I designed for like skin stretching tattoo practice, that's going to be expensive because of how much damn time it takes me and the materials it's made out of. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I charge a ton for my work, so when I don't take commissions as a general idea because I like enjoying what I work on. So I guess if under the right circumstances, if the commission was something that I wanted to do, then I'd probably be down. Um, I shouldn't say that. I've done many commissions, but I don't generally now take commissions anymore because I only like working on stuff that I enjoy working on. And if someone came to me and was like, hey, this is a general idea of what I want and you can do it however the fuck you want, then I would be down and I would actually charge way less. I always charge a crap ton if it's something I have no interest in doing. I don't know, maybe that's not fair, but I God, I hate working on projects that are so boring or uninteresting. Yeah, if you check out my TikTok, I think I have it on my Instagram and stuff like that. I designed a tattoo practice pad. It's like this thick. You guys might have seen them, but there's these tattoo pads you can buy on Amazon. You can buy them from, I think there's like something called Fake Skin or something like that, and it's for practicing. But they're super unrealistic. So I designed a tattoo pad that I'll be selling probably by the end of the year that is thick and actually has like tendons, and you can when you tattoo you're supposed to stretch the skin to some extent. I just exaggerate it, but you want to have the skin is taut. The practice pads that exist currently don't do that, and so I designed one that's thick and it actually has muscle definition in it, so as you're moving the skin around you can actually feel firmer like muscles and divots and tendons and things like that inside of it. Yeah, yeah, you can. Yeah, like I said, you can check out on like any of my social medias. I'm pretty sure I posted the video. I had to learn how to do like basic tattooing to see if it even works, but I got to send out. I think I want to send out 6 samples to tattoo artists I know, get them to work with it, see how they like it, because it would be very expensive to make and very expensive to buy for a customer. But my idea was this would be something that you could display after you were done, like you could hang on a wall, so it would come in a frame and shit, and but it could be like interactive in a way where not only could someone look at it, but they could touch it and they could feel the fake skin, right? That's the idea anyways. All right, I don't know if I nicked this. This looks like this was done after the live cast, which is really unfortunate. Just means more work. I used a whole bunch of stuff inside that. That is not just deadener, but yes, there is some deadener. It's more about how it's made versus what I used to make it. The technique was a bitch, and that the one I think I finally I made probably 6 before that. So yeah, into development like her. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I went through a whole tattooing phase recently because I learned how to use my tattoo gun and then our machine. I started tattooing a bunch of silicone stuff. Like I said, if you guys go check out my YouTube channel, you can find like past streams where I'm tattooing a silicone chest burster. I'm tattooing everything because I just needed to get used to it. Yeah, it's. I think it's at least. I'm not saying it's fully accurate, but it's way more accurate than I think the current pads are. Because the current pads do not require you to stretch at all. You just sit down and I shouldn't make it sound that simple, but you just sit down and you draw on them with the tattoo machine. Like most people, when you get tattoos, you got to think about how you're going to stretch the skin in the concept with like which way the line is going and things like that, which I don't think the current tattoo pads really show. Oh, and here's the other thing. When you're doing silicone, you have to figure out a way. Yo, what up, Cosmic Papa? How's it going? When you're doing tattooing on silicone, skin heals, and tattooing is, basically a bajillion needles going into your skin, right? So if you do it on something like silicone, it's literally cutting it. Those needles are so close together, those holes are so close together, you're basically cutting through silicone, and silicone doesn't heal back up. So you have to design it in such a way that it doesn't damage the product. So you can tattoo on it, and it doesn't just straight up just create cutting lines all over it. Cosmic Papa Raid! I'm good, just super hot. Can't say I blame you. We're at, what temperature is it right now? It's saying it's 94 here in Vegas right now. That tracks. And this is cool for us. I'm waiting for them 115 temperatures, What were you working on? On vein pattern and skin texturing for artists you can think of off the top of your head. It's not a dumb question. I think that's a question that anyone who's sculpted or wanted to understand skin texture and stuff, I haven't found one. Let me just put it that way. My knowledge of the stuff that I've started figuring out has literally been through YouTube University and personal experience over the last like 20 years, following artists I like, watching their techniques, and that's it. That's it. Some of the stuff I came across myself, like a lot of my skin texturing tools are all handmade, and it's also for the purpose. This is for a movie effect, but it's also a project for me to stream on, so it's kind of like dual purposed, right? Making a creepy one-footed butler. That is at least the best sentence I have read in the last month. Creating a creepy one-footed butler. How far did you get? But yeah, just I'm trying to think. I think the anatomy book I have goes over. No, they go over fat deposits, which is pretty cool. But I don't know if they go over skin tech. Actually, they might. They might use arrows. So they don't really show you that many great pictures, but they might show you arrows of how the skin, what's the word I'm looking for? Flows, which would then give you something to kind of work off of as far as wrinkles go. One foot is a punishment for his evil. He's all bulk currently. Gotcha. That's a good question. What did the butler do? He didn't buttle properly. God, that makes me think of Clue. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie. What exactly does a butler do? He buttles, sir. Real talk. Oh yeah, God tier for sure, dude. I love that movie. I have probably seen that movie over 100 times throughout my life, and oh my God, yeah, just amazing film, hands down. Do you get all the deal? Well, a lot of these, remember, this started as a life cast, so the trick is not getting these details; it's keeping them, and then if you have to erase them, getting them back. That's the trick. This is why life casting is such a big thing in the like special effects industries, because you get to hold on to them. It sounds like a crime punishable by death. Or the young heir. There we go. Bam, 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 bam. So yeah, like fixing all these little, if you guys can see, these are all micro air bubbles that will absolutely show in the silicone casting. So that's probably the trickiest part with doing like life cast fixing, right? And to keep the texture, I always found just like going through and adding small amounts of clay, right? Like is the best way to do it. You could go through with a rake and just smooth all that out, but then you lose all that detail that you know, worked so hard to get in the first place. But it's crappy if you look. Yeah, you guys, at least I think you can see it. There's this line right here. Okay. That's from like, there's a very small, tiny micro air bubbles going all the way up the arm, right? You could leave it. It might not be able to be visible when you cast in silicone and stuff, but I like to just eliminate all of it, like to make it perfect. So, you know, going in and even just breaking up the line, like creating stopping points, helps the eye not catch that there is a line. And so, do I have books or me special effects mold making? Yeah, you can definitely see it from your cam. Yeah. Then, you know, obviously like this stuff, we're gonna have to fill all that. These again were probably water bubbles, like condensation bubbles between the clay and the silicone casting. We'll have to fill all those and then replace, and then I guess add the texture that would have been there. But oh yeah, like all this, that's all just weird like air bubble action going on from pouring the clay inside the silicone mold. So yeah, it's just a time consuming process for sure if you want it to look good. As far as books go, books are media for special effects. You can look almost anything online. My channel on YouTube, you guys should go check it out if you haven't already. Creatively_cursed. You should go do that because I want to get to 1,000 followers, and we're slowly getting there on YouTube. So you can go watch all my past streams there. I cover a ton about mold making, sculpting, casting, the whole 9 yards. It's all my past streams. But otherwise, if you're willing to pay, and there's even some gripes I have about it, but what's it called? The Stan Winston School of Character Arts.com is all videos you pay for, and they do go over a pretty significant amount of things. I have a yearly subscription, and I've watched most of their videos. There's just some gripes I have. It's like some pieces of information they just leave out, which I feel is really shitty of them, because I'd love to ask them if they do it on purpose. But like, I remember one I was watching about transfer appliances, or not transfer appliances. It was gel-filled appliances. And like, it was really informative, and they do give you basically everything you need. But the one thing I really needed was the brand and the durometer of the silicone they use. Because they're like, oh, well, we use 100% deadener when we do this step. And it's like, great, but 100% deadener in different types of silicone will do a ton of different shit. And when they use the buckets, they don't tell you what's inside the buckets. And so it's like, oh no, they do. Platinum silicone. Well, anyone who's ever bought platinum silicone can fucking tell you, and I can tell you because I literally go through over 100 over 110 gallons of silicone on a weekly basis. I can tell you that there's literally tons of variants, and 10% of slacker that's a double lot 30 durometer will mess it up. You do 100%, it's going to turn to goo. Sorry, I'm ranting. Silicone nerd shit. Anyways, books or media. So Stan Winston School of Character Design, I think is what it's called. They have literally, if you're willing to pay for, all the videos. Otherwise, YouTube. Just, you have to know what to look for. If you want to learn how to do, face life casting or mold making, you just have to be able to look that up. Yeah. It's a bummer too, because Stan Winston's probably my favorite special effects artist. He's definitely my favorite individual, quote unquote, effects artist. K and B, because they worked on a ton of my favorite movies, are definitely up there. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're pretty much actually going to wrap up the stream. It's a trade secret stuff to hold out on, but yeah, I bookmarked it. Thanks. Yeah, it kind of is. That's the thing. Effects artists. Everything about being an effects artist in general is about problem solving. You are told ahead of time of what the effect is that the producer, director, writer wants you to do, and you have to figure it out. And it's very costly. That's why effects artists are so fucking expensive to work for, is because most of their job is figuring out shit that hasn't been done before and there's no easy answer for. The Dick Smith collection of his teachings was this super coveted thing. Like, there are a ton of trade secrets. I have my own trade secrets, and it's because you work so hard to fucking figure them out. You don't want to just give them away. Been watching you for a while now, and I'm thrilled. I like not only what you're doing, but also the way you are. Just wanted to say that before I try to fall asleep again. I hope to see you soon. Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Yeah, I'll be back. Well, those are very kind words. Thank you. I'm going to be back on Friday, guys. I don't know if I'm going to do a game stream or not. The Forest does have an update, but I really, really want to do another art stream. Oh yeah, the House Goblin. That's Steve. He's my placeholder on Etsy. Literally. Here you go. I literally, to start an Etsy, you have to. Thank you so much for the subscription, guys. Thank you. Or the squigglies. Thank you. He's a placeholder. When you start an Etsy, you have to put something up. And so I was like, I'm just going to put Steve up. Steve is my judgment goblin. He stays on my desk with me. If you guys ever want to see him, just ask to see Steve. And I made him really grumpy looking to make sure that I stay on task. And so he just sits around giving me a hard time. So yeah, Steve's pretty cool. Anyways, I got to head out, guys. I will be back on Friday with more streaming stuff. So, with whether it's art or game stream, one way or the other. If you guys haven't, jump over to my YouTube channel, throw me a follow or a sub or whatever it's called over there, because I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers. If you haven't gone and joined the Discord, if you're an artist, I don't care if it's 2D, photography, sculpting, makeup, whatever it is, join the Discord. I'm trying to build like a coalition of artists in a Discord of people, doing the art thing. I even allow AI art in there. We have a whole AI art Mid-Journey attachment you guys can mess around with. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, and I will catch up with you all on Friday. Peace out.